Hey there guys, Digital Sesh One here, and as many of you may know, and as the title suggests, and as my attire suggests, Star Wars The Force Awakens is finally out there in the world, and it's out in theaters, and people are experiencing it, and people are just spamming the hell out of social media, and anybody that's not a Star Wars fan, I apologize, because I will say I'm guilty of the Star Wars hype spam. But you know what? It's well deserved. The new movie's out there in the world. It's been quite some time, obviously, since a Star Wars movie has come out since Episode 3, and it's been even longer since a good Star Wars movie has come out. But cha. But anyways, I digress. So yeah, I got to go see the new movie on opening night, or at least opening night here. I know it came out in London. That would have been awesome to go to, but I got to see it when it came out, nice and early. And not only that, I got to go to a pretty special event. It was a Star Wars marathon event. So all 7 movies in a row, 17 hours of Star Wars goodness packed in a nice big theater with a bunch of Star Wars fans, and it was just an awesome time. Tiring, nonetheless. It was like I said, it's 17 hours. Started at 4 in the morning, culminating until 10 o'clock at night, and it was a 3-hour drive just to get to the theater, so quite a tiring journey nonetheless, but it's all about the Star Wars, and it was well worth it. I had an awesome time doing that. So anyways, before I get into it, just to preface this video, potential spoilers, I'm not going to get into it. I might make a separate video in the future of a little bit of a spoiler cast, but I won't do it right now because, you know what? I'm not going to be a dick about it because there's some people out there I know. I haven't seen it yet on my social media, which is good. But you know what? The people that spoil the new movie, you gonna get force choked because just don't do it. It's just don't. Anyways, so yeah, I'm gonna do a quick little, I guess, impressions or a review or whatever the hell you want to call it of the new movie and how it stacks up with the. Oh God, I don't know what just happened. I just got a little wind. I got force choked right there. I don't know why. But anyways, how it stacks up to the rest of the movies. Maybe we'll do a ranking system. I'll just do a quick little ranking system in my head. But anyways, since they're all fresh in my mind, let's get right into it. Straight up. First off, it does live up to the hype. And there's a ton of hype around it, more so than any of the prequels for sure. Like, just if you see the items out there in the world, and I think in some regards, especially on the merchandising side of things, it's a little overboard. There's Star Wars soap and lipstick and fragrances and popcorn, and it's just everywhere. Not that is necessarily a bad thing, but it's on items that make absolutely no sense. So this has nothing to do with the movie. This is just my own personal thing as far as merchandising, but it is potentially a little overboard. But anyways, enough about merchandise. The new movie, straight up, like I said, lives up to the hype. I love, actually, just to show you more or less, the new Stormtrooper, First Order Stormtrooper designs I actually really do like. So I'm going to take off those awesome 3D glasses. Yeah, I like the new designs of the Stormtrooper. Otherwise, again, it has nothing really to do with the movie at this point, but just on a design standpoint, a lot of it does draw a lot from the original trilogy, which I really enjoy because I think a lot of people really enjoy. You don't really have to watch the prequels to really get up to that point. I mean, you watch the prequels to get to the original trilogy, and then the original trilogy goes to the 7th movie, so there's a lot more inspirations from there. And as many of you may also know if you watch any trailers or read anything about it, this isn't really spoiling anything, but, a lot of classic characters come back to portray their roles. So, Harrison Ford comes back to play Han, and then, and whatnot. So a lot of classic characters come back, nice homages to it. So I like the little, I guess, subtle inferences to the original trilogy with those characters, and it's really nice. There's lots of, like I said, nice little nuanced jokes and whatnot just kind of tucked in there for fans or anybody that's watched any of the original trilogy. So it's nice to see that. And I will say as well, it is probably the funniest Star Wars movie as well. So as far as the humor is concerned, again, you'll get more out of it if you are a fan of Star Wars or if you've seen any of the previous movies. Just a lot of those jokes, spot on. It doesn't seem overboard as far as a nostalgia standpoint. It's not like they're forcing it down your throat, which is really nice. But yeah, just as far as that's concerned, really good. If you watch or if you've seen any other reviews as well, this is coming up quite a bit as well, which I also feel like sentiments towards. Just a lot of the characters that they've introduced, a lot of the secondary characters anyways, they kind of did shaft quite a bit. Not that it's necessarily a bad thing, just I feel like they could have done more with it, which again they might do in future movies at this point or spin-offs. There's lots of stuff going along with that. So I hope they do actually expand more on some of the secondary characters that they introduce because again, some of them are really cool in concept. They just don't really do anything with them, which is a little disappointing. But again, they might do more stuff with that in the future, which will probably build off that and any kind of plot holes and whatnot. Again, they'll expand out just like the original movies. If you just watch the one, then they'll fill out most of the other stuff. Maybe they'll do a whole nother trilogy just to fill plot holes. I don't know. But anyways, just as far as that's concerned, that's great. Trying to think of what else, honestly, without spoiling anything. It's just I like I said, I one thing actually I will say, I don't know if this is a spoiler. So again, so far up to this point, if you haven't been spoiled on anything, great. But again, still spoiler alerts. I had a very big Avengers vibe to the movie. Now I don't really know exactly how that's gonna put images in your head, but basically I just felt like it was a very Avengers-esque in the fact that it has got a great comedy with a lot of great action and just I don't know. I think it's just that kind of concept, like overall feeling. It felt a lot like at least the comparisons like to modern, like some of the more modern films out there. A very Avengers like the first Avengers, not so much maybe not so much Ultron, but yeah, I don't know. That's just some random thought that came in my head while I was watching the new film. Very Avengers like. Like you have your team set up, and then you have your, and it just everything. I don't know. It just felt. I don't know why I thought that, but that if that gives you any kind of idea of how it is, it felt very Avengers-y. That's my review. It's Avengers-y, which is like the good points of Avengers. I guess I'll specify that. But otherwise, again, without going in too much into it, just like I said, great nuance to the original trilogy, and just the comedy was great. The new characters, I will say as well, really spot on. There was some characters going into it where honestly I was just like a little iffy on them if they'd be really good. And this one, I hope this isn't a spoiler or anything like that, but BB-8 in particular is probably the most marketed character in the film. At least as far as yeah, like I said, merchandising standpoint. I was really worried about BB-8 in particular, just because there's a lot of I wouldn't say they shoved it down your throat, but he's everywhere, or she, or it, or whatever you want to say it. But yeah, BB-8 is literally everywhere, and it's more or less supposed to be the R2-D2 replacement, I guess, as far as this is concerned. But I thought the character, even though all it does is beeps and boops, it captured your heartstrings. It pulled on the heartstrings. It was a lot cuter than R2-D2. R2-D2, as many of you probably think in your own head, he's kind of a dick. He's kind of a dick. BB-8 is more of like an adorable little child brother type character, I guess, which is I don't know. I thought it was a nice kind of difference as far as character design comparatively to yeah, to R2-D2. So I think it's a nice little change there. But anyways, that's that. Again, I don't know what else to really get into without spoiling things. There's a lot of stuff that's in there that's just like, oh my god, I want to talk. I've talked to a couple of friends that saw them also on opening night, so a couple of things there. But like I said, biggest thing, like I said, I think it's just a nice, funny, awesome action movie. And like I said, a lot of the new characters that they introduce. I guess specifically, actually, as far as specific characters, I find actually, again, just because they've already introduced the characters, hopefully, again, this doesn't spoil anything, but Poe and Finn in particular, I thought were actually done really well. I honestly didn't really see much of Poe in the trailers other than the introducing the character and whatnot, but I thought they did his character really, really well. And on top of that, Finn in particular, a lot of controversies with him even before the film came out, like even just before the even I think once they did the casting, a lot of people had issues with it, and some of it honestly is just on a racial standpoint, which is that's just silly. But anyways, I thought they did his character also really well. A lot different take on what my original thought was going into the movies after watching a couple of those trailers. So I really enjoyed what they did with that and changing my perceptions of it going in. So I thought his character was really well. Ray as well, really awesome lead character. And again, as far as kind of a new age, kind of taking a nice strong female lead there. And then as far as a villain standpoint, again, without going too much into it, Kylo Ren was done really well, I think, as well. I again, this hopefully doesn't spoil anything. I was in some parts a little bit disappointed about the villain, like the evil standpoint of the characters and I guess vibe to it, which I won't get super into, but just as far as an evil standpoint, of the or like the dark side of the force kind of standpoint, I wasn't. There was certain parts that I had a bit of issues with, but nothing really too major. So again, it's not a perfect movie, but it is definitely a lot better than all three original, or not sorry, not original, prequel trilogy movies. I think combined, honestly, is just that's not really hard to do. I think at this point, but just I thought it was done really well. Lots of nods, and I guess as far as stacking it up, I still think Empire definitely still the best Star Wars movie. I think I'll probably rank Jedi second. Maybe actually, you know what? Honestly, even Force Awakens, I might even put at number two at this point. Not maybe just because it's so fresh and whatnot, but honestly, it's just it had so many good points to it, lots of good scenes, and just the characters again were just what I thought all the new characters were lovable, and all the old characters did a really good job. They didn't feel like, you know, I felt like in particular I didn't feel like they were grumpy to be there. I guess like they were like, oh, I'm just here for the money. I'm just here for the Star Wars. But no, I felt like they, you know what? Maybe they. I think they felt like they enjoyed their time on the set. But anyways, I would, you know what? I'll put it out there. I'll put episode 7 at number 2 after Empire, then probably Jedi, then New Hope, and then you know what? I'll say Phantom Menace. Then we'll go. You know what? We'll go 1, 3, and 2. I honestly didn't really care. Never really cared for Attack of the Clones because whatever. I honestly, it was actually since I mentioned this, it started at like 4 in the morning, and honestly, I didn't sleep the night before or even really much on the ride up. So I was very tired at that point. So honestly, I think during episode 2 in particular, I passed out for a little bit. Had a little nap in the theater because, like I said, I do not really care too much about Attack of the Clones. Clone Wars though, it's pretty sweet. Clone Wars is actually not too bad, but Attack of the Clones, I took that time to take a little rest because I was tired. I was very tired, and if I had to choose a movie to sleep through, it's gonna be one of the prequels. It's gonna be one of the prequel trilogies. So, anyways, this video is getting a tad long. Again, just as a quick overview, which I probably should have just done to begin with, but I like to rant about Star Wars. Just the new movie is great. Like I said, I would rank it probably number 2 at this point. Within the top 3 for sure, of the Star Wars sept trilogy. No, it's not. I don't know what I'm saying. Seven movie arc at this point. So I'm very excited for episode 8 and all the spin-offs, Rogue Squadron and whatever else is out there in the world coming out. But I'm very excited for the new age of Star Wars at this point. J.J. Abrams did a good job. Very glad that Jar Jar Binks, I guess, again, it's not spoiling anything at this point, I hope, but Jar Jar is not in there, so Jar Jar Abrams has not struck, which is fantastic. But yeah, it's a great movie nonetheless. I said, go watch it. Just go see it if you have any inkling. If you enjoy the movies, obvious like Star Wars as a whole, definitely go see it. Even if you're not a big Star Wars fan, like I said, if you enjoy, I would say even superhero movies at this point, it's got, like I said, I thought it had a really nice Avengers vibe to it. So it's a great action comedy mix mashup at the same time as well. So it's just an awesome movie nonetheless. And it's gonna, so far it's doing very well as far as a movie standpoint is concerned, grossing wise. But yeah, just without, I think I'm gonna do a spoiler cast at some point in the future once I go see it 7 billion more times. So maybe expect that. We'll see. But anyways, just like I said, go watch the movie. It is fantastic. I loved it. Like I said, not a perfect movie by any means. There's still some issues that I had, which I really, really want to just like out there with. But I'll keep that to myself for the time being. So anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this little review of the new film, my little ranting of the new Star Wars film, but I fully enjoyed it. I give my 2 thumbs up, stamps of approval, and I jumped on board with the Star Wars hype, and I probably will continue with that and buy even more crazy merchandise that has Star Wars somewhere on it. So it's well deserved. It is an awesome film, and even better, I got to have some nice cherry vanilla Coke with this stormtrooper, which actually from this angle looks really dirty at this point, but that's okay. But yeah, just straight up go enjoy the Star Wars. It is fantastic. I'm going to end this video because it's getting very long, and I think you guys don't really care about what else I have to say at this point other than it's great. Go watch it. Star Wars, man. Star Wars.